Hi, welcome to 3th by Space. We're here with Neil Newbon in sunny Phoenix, Arizona. How are you enjoying the desert so far?
It's been great, although it's been raining a lot, which was really dispelled my ideas of what Arizona was supposed to be like. It's been great. I really like Arizona.
Yeah, yesterday was weird. Oh, sorry.
No, it's all. Yeah, yesterday was very strange.
Yeah. Yeah.
The British have come.
Yeah, I know. I was like, you brought the rain with you.
Yeah, everyone keeps saying that. Meteorologically speaking, that's not possible. But
Oh,
yes.
no, definitely not. But it could be. Maybe you're a magic? I don't know.
Could be.
Yeah.
It's entirely possible.
Yeah. What was the most meaningful part of playing Astarion for you?
Most meaningful part? I think the most meaningful part has come from the release of the game, to see the connection that the audience have had with him, but also with the story as a whole, and the fact that people connected so deeply in this project, and this entire story meant so much to so many people.
Yeah.
I think for me as an actor, to be able to see the audience's reaction like that has probably been the most meaningful thing. I mean, listen, I love playing Astarion. He's meant the world to me, and he still does. But I think in terms of meaning, you know, to be able to have art that you've been a part of that actually moves people and has really helped people from what people have been saying to us, that's incredibly meaningful. Yeah.
That leads into my next question then. Were you expecting him to be...
Well done, no?
Were you expecting him to be so beloved?
Oh, I wasn't. I don't think in terms of that. I think I was very surprised. I think, as was quite a lot of my colleagues, about how thirsty people got. Let's say that was an interesting thing that we didn't really see coming. I didn't ever really think in terms of how I think people will receive a character of mine. I think the danger of that is that actors can start trying to play to an audience that isn't there. Initially when you're doing the work, and I think it's really dangerous, because what I think I would rather do is focus on the character's truth in the story in fictional circumstances, and hope people either love or hate him. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't like the term villains for my characters, but I get it. You know, it's a term for a character. So people are supposed to either love or hate my characters. Right. I'm always fascinated by some minor characters I play sometimes that people really like. Gavin Reed from Detroit Become Human is a really weird example of how I played a complete dickhead, and people really like him. Yeah. So that was a surprise, I guess. With Astarion, I just wanted people to understand what we were trying to do with him. Stephen Rooney is the amazing writer of Astarion, as well as the other writers that contributed to it. And and myself and the directors, we all sort of were creating this character that is sort of very multi-layered. That what you see initially, the very first time you meet him, is a muted version of him. Then he starts becoming a bit more open. Then he's very theatrical because it's all the cover and deflection. And then finally, after all that time, he peels back the facade, and you see actually he's very damaged, and very vulnerable, and a bit lost, and all that kind of stuff. And I think, for me to see the audience reaction, it was like, okay, great, they got it. That's fantastic. That's amazing. So.
Were you able to put any parts of yourself into Astarion, and how much were you able to maybe influence throughout the recording, or was there a very specific direction that the directors wanted to go with him?
It's interesting with that, because I think it was such a long project. There was a very definite, clear idea to begin with of the kind of general idea of Astarion. I was doing things with Astarion from the beginning that Stephen Rooney, the writer, specifically also saw and liked a lot. That he told me, I think he's got on record saying this, I did things with his lines that he didn't expect, and so he liked the rhythm and started writing towards that rhythm. And then I obviously picked up on his rhythm, and then tried to do that. I didn't improvise with Astarion. Everything you hear from Astarion is written as was by the writers. Gotcha. What I did that was different, I guess, in terms of that, was adding my craft to creating different aspects of his character through the movement, through the voice, through ideas and intonation, etc., that maybe people hadn't initially predicted. So the story wasn't completely fleshed out. The idea of where you meet him, what happened to him previously, and ultimately where the entire story was going, that was set. But some of the ins and outs, they were writing as we were going along. So it was interesting finding out in the immediate moment, as the character, but also as the actor, where he was going. I think the fact that I was within a month or two, I was very, very set into Astarion. So I knew a lot about him. I really got him very quickly, I hope. And because of that, it was really interesting to discover what was going on and reacting to it as it was happening in a way. Cool. It was very cool. Yeah, because it was like, oh wow, okay, I understand the character completely. Therefore, I know exactly how he'd react in this moment or that moment, even though I've only just this week seen this part of the story.
Yeah.
So it's very cool. We recorded thousands of lines.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's about 4.5 years. 4 years in total, I think.
Okay. In that same vein, how different was it to record Baldur's Gate versus Detroit Become Human?
So Detroit Become Human, we shot Quantic Dream in Paris, and that was a more traditional filming experience. For instance, there are scenes, you have 4 or 5 actors, you rehearse, you shoot the entire scene together. There's no camera coverage because you're shooting the volume, the camera can be anywhere. You're just doing rehearsals and then shooting and then tweaking as you go, and trying to find the scene a bit more perhaps. Baldur's Gate 3, all of us, 250 odd actors doing performance capture, all of us in volume, all of us doing full performance, apart from a couple of people who are just disembodied voices. It's full performance, man, but you have to do it alone because you cannot work out the computations and permutations of the other 12 actors that could or could not be there, the people that may or may not be dead, the things that you may or may not have done. It's too complicated. So the easiest way of doing it is to do it in isolation. And then what they were doing, which was great as we were filming, was adding other people's dialogue they recorded so that we could hear that and play with it.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was cool.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was a very wild experience. It was amazing. I loved it. I had a great time.
That's really fun.
It's a testament to also the directors and Pit Stop Productions who helmed that side, and also to Larian for making such an amazing workflow. Yeah. And the writers was great. It was just an awesome project.
Yeah. Everything came together so beautifully. It's just incredible.
Yeah, it was 4 years of bliss.
Yeah. Did that happen pre or post pandemic?
During the pandemic.
Okay, so how did COVID change how things were working and how you were recording?
Not much, to be honest. We went. I was doing a Japanese animated film in Japan when the pandemic hit, and 2 days before lockdown, I arrived back in London. And what the fuck? It was like the apocalypse. It was like, what is happening? Where are the zombies? You know?
Right.
And then a few weeks into the pandemic, when it was obvious that it was going to not be a minute, it was going to take a minute. We weren't sure it was going to go. We started doing home recording stuff, just like VO stuff, which is actually stuff for VO that we were supposed to be doing. And eventually, at some point, a few months into it, I think we started getting back into the studio because we could be isolated.
Right.
So it was safe, as safe as possible.
Yeah.
So I was starting to record not too long into the pandemic, to be honest. Wow. Which was great. So that's the thing about performance capture. You can do that. You don't need to have 12 people there. You can do it in isolation if you need to. So for us, it was challenging in terms of just making sure people were safe and being very strict about rules and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think it was too long. I can't remember exactly when it was, but we ended up back in the volume.
Nice.
It was cool because we didn't really feel like we had any discontinuation. It was actually just a little bit of a slowdown, and we carried on.
That's awesome. I had no idea. So,
yeah.
And I know that you've done martial arts in the past. How did that help with mocapping?
Mocap for this?
For anything that you've done.
Oh, I started in motion capture doing in-game locomotion and mechanics, as well as cinematic doubling. So for me, it was very useful. It was incredibly useful. I'd already been a martial artist for 20 odd years at that point.
Wow. Okay.
So it was just a natural continuation of skills I already had to use them in the volume. It gives you a lot of sense of you can take a hit. So for me, it was great because we were doing a lot of stunt stuff for games over the years, and it just meant I could look after myself and also have fun.
Yeah.
And not like, oh, I just hit my arm. It's more like, okay, great, shake it off and just carry on. It's really fun. So yeah, it's been very useful.
That's fun. Is there a favorite stunt that you've done?
Not really.
Okay.
I did a live action high jump off Barbican. So there's a very long, big steps, about 6 meters up. I did a free fall jump off that.
Oh, fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I worked on Gangs of London with a great stunt crew. That was really cool. I've done loads. Yeah. Horizon Zero Dawn was great. I had a really good time on that. We did a fight sequence myself and Clive Standen.
Oh, cool.
Did the fight sequence between Rost and the sort of evil guy that kills Rost. That's me, and also Clive Standen, who's from Wanted and things like that.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's really fun.
The ape stuff was great. I do a lot of ape stunts, which was really cool.
That's fun.
I've done loads of stunts, so I don't really have a favourite, no, but it's all fun.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for somebody who's looking to get into voice acting? I'm sure you get this question a lot. But
Yeah, I would firstly not call it voice acting.
Okay.
I know I'm not being pedantic.
No, I get you.
I meant for the actor. Like, the actor shouldn't call it voice acting. Rather, it is voice acting. You shouldn't call yourself a voice actor. I feel you should call yourself an actor that does voice acting or voice work or whatever. but then do everything else. So and people often ask me how can I get to PCAP or voice work, and it's like learn to be an actor, learn how to do theatre, learn how to do film, learn how to do creature work, learn different methodologies, because all of that blends itself. Even if you're just using your voice, all of that work will be inside your instrument, and all of it you can use in whichever job you do. So learn how to do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my advice for people trying to get into it.
Perfect. Thank you. That's all I have for the regular. So are you good for rapid fire questions?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
These are the spicy questions.
Yeah.
All right.
Mouse and keyboard or controller?
Mouse keyboard.
Excellent. What is your favorite D&D class?
I don't know. I always used to do fighter thief.
Okay.
Or swashbuckler or something like that. Like rogue-ish.
Yeah. Kind of makes sense. Yeah. Peanut butter or jelly?
Can I have both?
Sure. Yeah.
Both.
Okay. What was your favorite ride at Disneyland?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. Quite a lot of them. All of them.
All of them?
Yeah. Oh, the Galaxy's Edge is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh, that was fun.
that.
What's your favorite board game or tabletop game?
D&D or Warhammer Roleplay First Edition. But D&D probably.
Yeah. Who is your favorite voice actor?
Don't have a favourite voice actor. I have many actors I admire. There are too many to list. Yeah. I don't have a favourite.
Do you have a dream character to voice?
No, I have lots of projects that I'd love to work with, mainly studios I'd love to work with. People like Naughty Dog, Santa Monica, like loads of amazing studios, Bethesda I'd love to work with. I don't really mind what projects I do. I want to do good character. I still do indie work. I do indie games, AA, AAA, and I'll continue to do all of that.
Yeah.
So I don't ever really like, oh, now I've done this stuff, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'll do everything. I still do mocap as well. I don't really have a dream character. It's more about, I like working with a group of people, great projects, with enthusiasm and fun, and doing maybe something, if I can, something slightly different to what I've done before.
Awesome. Cool. That's all. Thank
Cool.
you.
No worries.
Yep.
We want to thank Neil Newbon and his team again for helping us set this interview up. We had a wonderful time.